this is Ruth. I'm one of the naturalists at Beaver Creek Reserve, and today I'd like to show you some of the plants you might be seeing as you drive down the road, some of the stuff that's blooming in our ditches. Now unfortunately, most of what blooms in our ditches is invasive species. So as I name things today, I may not remember to tell you it's invasive, but I will try really hard to remember if it is a native plant that is blooming so that you can tell the difference on them. Alright, so one of the plants that we see quite a bit, and it's quite prolific where it grows, is this low growing yellow one. It has been planted as ground cover because it will cover the ground, but obviously it kind of takes over where it's growing. It's got this really interesting little yellow flower with one of the petals pulled back and the two petals down this way. It's called bird's foot trefoil. Now, bird's foot trefoil gets its name from the seed pod. The seed pod kind of spreads out and ends up looking kind of like a bird's foot. Alright, so another fairly common weed that people see is this one. It's known as mullein. Mullein has these really fuzzy, soft leaves, and then it'll get this kind of spike of little yellow flowers. The flowers last for a day, and then the next set of flowers come out. This one is actually kind of short. Mullein can be fairly tall. It is what's known as a biennial, so it takes 2 years for the bloom to show up. For the first year, you'll just see a rosette of the soft, fuzzy leaves, and then the second year, it'll send up the flower spike. And then it's done. That plant, this particular plant will be done after it blooms this year, but of course the flower is going to produce seeds. Now mullein does not tend to take over an area, and it's used quite a bit by a lot of our pollinators. So it's not considered quite as invasive or quite as troublesome as some of our other invasive species that we have. Alright, one of the white flowers that you see, when you see kind of the sea of white, these little balls of flowers on kind of a long skinny stalk with little tiny leaves on the side, this is Hori alyssum. If you are a horse owner, you want to know this one because it's poisonous for horses. You don't want this getting into your fields, or you don't want it chopped up into hay to feed your horses because that's not going to be a good outcome. It was put in as a ground stabilizer, so when they do road work and stuff like that, it's one of the reasons it got brought here, because it makes a very nice tight blanket of plants and does stabilize the ground, but it is an invasive and it does take over. So another one that we see growing, it can have either white flowers or yellow flowers. They're both sweet clover. This is obviously yellow sweet clover. The other one is white sweet clover. Now, being in the legume family, the pea family, it is a nitrogen fixer. So that's one of the reasons it got brought over to this country, is to help fix nitrogen into the soil for other plants to use. But then, like a lot of other plants, it got out of control. Now, some people will ask, well, how come the ditches are almost all invasives? And partly because of the mowing practices that we have. Once the plants are in seed, then the mowers pick up the seed on the blades and just spread it down the road. And so this is part of how a lot of our invasives spread, is because of the way we mow and take care of our ditches. So one of our native plants that you might be seeing growing in the ditch is this plant right here, this purple one. It's called spiderwort. Now spiderwort, the flowers are day flowers. They last for 1 day, and so they're going to be more prolific in the morning, and they're going to actually be closing up as the afternoon progresses. The name spiderwort, from what I was told, comes from the way the plant grows. It grows up, and then at this joint it kind of bends, and then there's another joint that bends back this way. Somewhere along the line somebody thought that looked like spider legs, how they joint out when they are coming off of the spider. So this little guy is a good one. We like this plant in growing in our ditches, and we hope to see lots of it in the future. So for those of you who are allergy sufferers in the fall, we quite often blame goldenrod as our trigger for allergies. The problem is goldenrod is insect pollinated. So those yellow flowers don't have pollen going out. They have to have an insect come in and gather the pollen. The one that actually causes us the allergy problems is the plant called ragweed. This lacy, almost carrot ferny type of plant is ragweed. Now the problem is when it's in bloom, it blooms about the same time as goldenrod, but the flowers are green and very tiny and not noticeable. We notice the big showy yellow goldenrods, and so we automatically blame them. This is your problem. This is the one that's causing most people some severe allergy sneezing attacks come fall.
Hi, I'm Eric Keisler, Executive Director from Beaver Creek Reserve. Thanks for watching this great educational video from our staff. To find out more information like this and others, check out our website at beavercreekreserve.org. You can also support us by being a member or donating to our endowment campaign, which is supporting Beaver Creek through this COVID-19 crisis. Thank you. We appreciate your time.